And just like that, the final episode of the recording session has begun. Welcome back to Ace Attorney. This is for all. I'm your host, MegaShadowFist, like a video games, like a commentary. When we last left off, we were interrogating Gumshoe, or cross-examining him. Yeah, that's the word. Oh, anyway, without further ado. It was ripped off of the ninja costume and found in Mr. Ungar's Hakama. When was this button found? Pretty soon after the body was found. We rounded up everyone who knew Mr. Korida. And then we did a search on them all. That's when we found the button. So it was almost immediately after the murder. The police didn't have the free time to lollygag and play tricks, unlike some people. Hey! What is he trying to say about me here? The defendant's fingerprints were also all over the knife. How were the fingerprints arranged on the knife? Huh? What do you mean, pal? By examining the fingerprints, you can determine how the defendant held the knife. For example, did he hold it normally or overhand? Oh, is that what you meant? Well, we didn't actually think of that. I can't believe the bumbling of this department. Hopeless. Were you paying attention to the testimony, right? The defendant's fingerprints were all over the knife. There is no way to determine how the knife was held at the moment of the murder. It's true, I'm still telling you it's because of steak. So is the defendant the owner of this knife, then? Then the defendant bought the knife for the crime, which makes this a premeditated murder. The defendant, okay. Huh. Hold on. Interesting. There is no way this was a premeditated murder, even if he bought the knife. Sorry, pal. This isn't just some pocket knife. It's not really useful for anything, and you can't just walk around with it either. So this might not be a steak knife then. Well, this is not good. Or maybe it is. I still want to say this because of steak. If the prosecution can prove it was premeditated murder, we're done for. Phoenix! Yes? There's something very interesting about what the detective just said just now. Think carefully before it's too late. A button covered in the victim's blood, and a knife with Engarde's fingerprints. Be grateful. If the judge were more rash, he would have already pounded his gavel in closing. We're still in a world of trouble. Well, before any battle, you must find your enemy's weakness. So let's find the weakness in this testimony, no matter how small it may be, okay, Phoenix? Okay, so, let's see here. Managard and Juan Corrida were huge rivals with each other. They each thought that the other guy was in his way. That's motive enough in my book. As for evidence, there's the Jamma Ninja's button. It was ripped off of the ninja's costume and was found in Matt Ungarde's Hakama. The defendant's fingerprints were all over the knife. The defendant bought the knife for the crime, which makes this a premeditated murder. Okay, so what we're gonna do first is look at all of our evidence. So blood on the button, whatchamacallit. Okay, so Nickel Samurai, press conference ticket, radio transceiver, Lotta's camera, magazine clipping, hotel guide map, guitar kit. Wait, we have 2 magazine clippings? I don't think we do now. Wine glass crime photo, suicide report, attempted suicide report, Juan's autopsy report. Okay. Wait, hold on. Let's go back, hold on. Defendant's fingerprints. The defendant bought the knife for the crime, which makes this a premeditated murder. I'm not quite sure if this is gonna work, but if he bought a knife for the crime, why is he strangled with a scarf? Nope, it doesn't look like it. Your Honor! That statement contradicts this evidence! It does? I don't see anything contradictory. Huh? Really? Objection denied. Try to think before you make accusations, Mr. Wright. Dang it, I was like, well, whoops, that didn't go so well. Hold on, let me look. The defendant bought the knife for the crime, which makes this a premeditated murder. And the defendant's fingerprints are all over the knife. It was ripped off of the ninja's costume, was found in Mr. Ungarde's Hakama. As for evidence, there's the Jamma Ninja's button. They each thought the other guy was in his way. That's motive enough in my book. This is gonna be a bit of a tricky one, I think. Maybe. As for evidence, there's the Jamma Ninja's button. Edgeworth did explain the thread. It was ripped off of the ninja. Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna press the last one again and see what they were saying again. Invented the knife for the victim, which makes this a premeditated murder. There is no way this was a premeditated murder, even if he bought the knife. Sorry, pal, this isn't just some pocket knife. It's not really useful for anything, and you can't just walk around with it either. Well, this is not good. If the prosecution can prove it was a premeditated murder, we're done for. Phoenix! Yes? There's something very interesting about what the detective said just now. Think carefully before it's too late. A button covered in the victim's blood, and a knife with Enguarde's fingerprints. Be careful. If the judge were more rash, he would have already pounded his gavel in closing. We're still in a world of trouble. Well, before any battle, you must find your enemy's weakness. So let's find the weakness in this testimony, no matter how small it may be. Okay, Phoenix? Okay. We're huge rivals with each other. They each thought the other guy was in his way. That's motive enough in my book. As for evidence, there's a Jam Ninja's button. I feel like we have to present something for this. It was ripped off of the ninja's costume and was found in Mr. Enguarde's Hakuma. Huh. The defendant's fingerprints were also all over the knife. The defendant bought the knife for the crime, which makes this a premeditated murder. I feel like it's the last one, though. But what can we prove? Nickel Samurai. Glossy photo Maya pushed onto me. Touch the check button for details. This isn't going to be any... like it. Obviously, this isn't going to be useful for us. I just want to check. Press conference ticket. Okay. What about this? Is a conference something... I don't know. I'm not sure how that would exactly disprove that it was a premeditated murder, but... Lada's camera. Magazine clipping. Hotel guide map. Guitar case. Wine glass. Crime photo. Let's check this. Okay, so yeah, you can see the button missing right there. There's blood. There's a knife. He was strangled. Wine glass. Or filled with tomato juice. Okay. Suicide report. That's not gonna be useful for us just yet anyway. Juan's autopsy report. Cause strangled with a scarf and stabbed with a knife. Bears the victim's blood and Enguarde's fingerprints. In the grip, Gatewater is engraved. Oh. Oh. Hold on. The defendant bought the knife for the crime, which makes this a premeditated murder. Hold on. The defendant's fingerprints were also... I mean... Do you think this will work, ladies and gentlemen? I'm not quite sure. It says Gatewater. Hold on. What happens if we present the knife? Oh, this is what we're supposed to do, yes! Okay. Wait a second! What? So the basis of your argument was that this was a premeditated murder is simply that my client bought a knife beforehand. That's right, pal. The defendant did not buy this knife. Huh? Take a good look at the handle of this knife, and you'll know what I'm talking about. Huh? It has a Gatewater still set into the handle. Gatewater? I think I've heard that name somewhere before. That's the name of the hotel. The Gatewater Hotel. Uh-oh. The murder knife was actually property of the hotel, which means this murder was not premeditated. Yes, that is very true. This is a very big... What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? I'm sorry, but the defense is simply too careless. What? Oh boy. Let's see how we got here. I think whether the... Oh, we're playing this thing. I think whether the crime was premeditated or not has already been determined. How so? I admitted this knife is hotel property. There is no one currently on the police force that is dumb enough to not realize this. But I didn't. Oh. The question. Oh, I see. Because he's not in the police. Okay, I see. It took me a second to catch that one. The question is, where did this knife come from? Excuse me. Why, that's obvious. It came from the victim, Mr. Corrida's room. Sorry, Your Honor, but that is incorrect. The victim ate a last meal before he was murdered. With that being the case, I would like to draw the court's attention to what is on top of the table. there is a knife and a fork on the table, or there's a knife and a fork on the table, then where in the world did this knife come from? If it pleases the court, I think I was using my regular voice for him for a second. If it pleases the court, I would like for us to recall the room of the defendant, Mr. Madangard. I told you the knife is missing, especially what was on top of his table. There is something missing. Perhaps it is a single knife. We investigated the leftover dishes for fingerprints, and while we were investigating, we came to the conclusion that Mr. Madangard's knife was missing. Mr. Angard had gone to the victim's room with the knife he had used during dinner. Why would he carry a knife on the visit? To kill, of course. And with that, I believe the prosecution has proven this was a premeditated murder. Ah, there's the Edgeworth bell! Oh, you're not getting away that easily, Edgeworth. Amazing, Mr. Edgeworth. Absolutely brilliant. A brilliantly clear deduction. It seems like Edgeworth had this plan from the very beginning. This must be one of those traps, and I just walked headlong into it. Oh, for a second I thought I lost. A murder weapon with a fingerprint and how much would it suck if there were like automatic losses in this case? I'm not sure if they've done that ever before, but anyway. A murder weapon with fingerprints and a button from the victim's costume. This is quite a sizable amount of evidence here. I can safely say that any further deliberation is a waste of your Honor's time. Although, I wouldn't mind if the defense were to present evidence not yet shown to the court. Evidence not yet shown? He means evidence that the court hasn't seen yet. In other words, new evidence. Let's go ahead and save, why don't we? Because we haven't saved in quite some time. Oh, yeah! Bumped into my pseudo-desk! No! Continue. I really need to get a shock mount for this. Like, I have a pop filter, which works 90% of the time. Sometimes I say my P's really hard. Like, I'll say, and like, it'll come out really loud. Not really that loud, but you know. But, you know, I need to get a shock mount because I keep bumping into my desk and it really picks it up. He means evidence that the court hasn't seen yet. In other words, new evidence. What does the defense have to say about this, Mr. Wright? Well... Phoenix! The judge is favoring the prosecution right now. If we answer it with something wrong here, that gavel of his will be ringing out the sound of our defeat. Mr. Wright, do you have something important and necessary to present to this court? Actually, I do. Because we can't say no, not right now. We have to do this today. There's one piece of evidence that catches my attention. Something that this court has yet to see. Mr. Wright, I will say this one more time. I do not feel this trial needs to continue at all. However, I am giving you one chance, and only one. Okay, so there are automatic deaths in this one, or deaths. What the judge is saying, right, is don't try pulling one of your usual bluffs here. If I mess this up, it's curtains for all of If I mess this up, it's curtains for all of us. Oh, yeah, it's this literally. Okay, that answers my question. What was I gonna say? You may now present one and only one piece of evidence. Now then, what is this important evidence that you must show to the court? The wine glass. Here we go. This is a wine glass, is it not? Please look at the photo of the crime scene one more time. The scene is a mess because of the victim's struggle against his assailant. The vase was broken, his makeup is all over the floor. These were all things that were at one point sitting on top of the dresser. Well yes, I see your point. However, this glass that is sitting on top of the dresser is mysteriously untouched. The only thing that had not fallen over along with everything else is this wine glass. This piece of evidence is more than strange enough to warrant further consideration. Well, what do you all have to say? Well, yes, it is a little peculiar. Yes, isn't it? I thought it was. You can stop looking at me with those puppy dog eyes of yours now. Mr. Edgeworth. What is it, Your Honor? Your opinion. You don't need my opinion, because there is no special meaning to that glass. What? It's safe to say that the glass was set there after the crime took place. Let's go ahead and save. I have to be careful about this, ladies and gentlemen. The spending game. Yeah, this is gonna be hard. I really need to pay very close attention to everything. Not let a single detail skip past. Oh, the song started over. Oh, I guess that usually happens, huh? Alright, anyway. It's safe to say that the glass was set there after the crime took place. By the person who discovered the body, Adrian Andrews, for example. She could have easily been so shocked that she set the glass down without thinking. But that doesn't... Oh, that's true. That does sound very plausible, Mr. Wright. Could Miss Andrews really have set that glass down without thinking? It's possible. There's no way. It's possible. Let's go with that. It's possible that it's possible that is what happened. There's nothing that points to Miss Andrews not being the one who set the cup down. And if I raise an objection here, that would only make the judge slam his gavel down. You can't think like that, Phoenix. Mia? Right now, you're hanging on a very thin thread. Anything else you can grab onto right now is better than nothing. So in other words, push as far as we can go. The defense would like to challenge the prosecution's theory. We would like to see something that proves it was Miss Andrews who set the cup... Why can I not read? We would like to see something that proves it was Miss Andrews who set up the cup on the table. You've turned the situation on its head yet again, as usual. Mr. Edgeworth, do you have any proof to back up your claim? There's no way he has any. He's just bluffing. Unlike Mr. Wright, I never say anything unless I have the evidence to support it. What? Oh boy. Oh no, the music! You're not thinking hard enough today, Wright. Did you think this wine glass escaped my notice? Then... Of course it has been thoroughly inspected, for fingerprints. Fingerprints? There were only one set of fingerprints left on this wine glass. Only one? Well, whose were they? Who do you think, Judge? Mo. They were the victims. They were not the victims, nor the defendants. Rather, they were one of Adrian Andrews. What? Wine glass updated in the court record. That is why I said that the person who had discovered the body had left it there. Are we done here, Mr. Wright? I can't believe I fell into another trap! Miss Andrews was probably holding the glass when she went to see Mr. Corrida. But upon seeing his dead body, she was stunned and set the glass down on the dresser. What you just said makes a lot of sense, but realistically, I don't know. Tis. Now do you see, right? You can't change any part of my scenario as it explains everything all too well. I have thought long and hard this past year about what it means to be a prosecutor. And from here on out, I will show you the answer I have come to discover. Wait a second! Mr. Edgeworth! I think the prosecution has provided enough evidence for me to enter my verdict. Unfortunately, I cannot allow you to pass judgment yet. The prosecution has yet another witness we would like the court to hear from. The court, not the court. Another witness? Yes. Bailiff, please bring in the next witness! What in the world is Mr. Edgeworth thinking? Who is it? Will Powers, Wendy Oldbag, Adrian... it's Wendy Oldbag! Okay. Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation. You know, that's one thing. You know what's actually pretty funny? This is actually, if you guys played the previous game, you notice that whenever Edgeworth asks anyone to state their name and occupation, no one did. They always ignored him for one reason or another. There's only one time that I can think of where someone actually, aside from Gumshoe, where someone actually legitimately said their name and occupation. I believe that was the lady from the third case in the previous game. I think she just said her name without any hesitation. He doesn't have a whip like Von Karma does, so. Witness, your name and occupation, please! G-O-T-C-H, gotcha! I wonder what happened to that calm composure he had earlier. Oh, Edgy boy, it's been, what, a year since we last met, hasn't it? You should be more happy to see me. I saw the report with her testimony, but who knew that under that helmet, it was the Wicked Witch of the witness stand? I tell you? This time I know what I'm supposed to do. So today I'm going to tell you anything and everything. Even things that I don't have to do with that horrible crime.
Miss Witness, that terrible crime is all this court needs to know.
Ugh! Shh! I'm talking to my dear Edgy Wedgie right now. Don't interrupt us, Gramps.
Yes, madam. No, please, by all means, interrupt her, please. Anyway, witness, your testimony, please.
It's true what they say that youth are hot-headed nowadays. Not that I mind at all, Edgy. Now then, what should I start with?
The witness was on security detail in the hotel the night of the murder. Is this correct, Miss Oldbag?
It was a great job being able to see my dearie one. It was almost too much for my little heart to handle.
You mean you were a fan of the victim?
Look, everyone is crazy over that on guard, saying he's cute in a fresh way or something. But not me. I wouldn't say anything so silly. After all, I have no interest in a little child like that. I'm really interested in a real man. What, Cordia?
But those two were the same age.
Anyway, as I was saying, I was pacing in front of his room that night.
Very well. Please tell the court what you witnessed the night of the murder.
Leave it to me, Edgy Poo!
Oh, so the garbage truck men are coming. They haven't, they're not loud enough. They need to, do a sound noise profile yet.
Anyway, after this ceremony, I went to pace around in the hallway in front of his room. There was something I was interested in finding out, you know. Well, since I was on the job, I made sure to keep a good eye out the whole time. That's when someone showed up. It was a man coming out of my poor Juan's room. It was on guard, mad on guard. He was trying to sneak his way out of Juan's room.
Okie dokie then. Well, it's a pretty flat testimony. I should be able to rip this a new one, I think. Maybe. So Mr. Ungar came out from the victim's room.
See? It has to be him. He's a murderer.
I see. Well, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. What you witnessed. Alright.
Anyway, after the ceremony, I went to pace around in the hallway in front of his room.
You know, I'm actually surprised that we haven't seen, Maggie... Hold on. Nope, a bit too early there. I'm surprised that we haven't seen Maggie Bird at all in this case. Because someone said that we were going to see her again. They said she's called the goddess of misfortune for a reason. I guess, we're just not going to see her until the next game. We haven't seen Larry Butts at all either. Where's Larry Butts? I demand Larry Butts. Anyway, without further ado. Oh, she said anyway too.
Anyway, after the ceremony, I went to the pace around in this hallway in front of his room.
Press. Miss Oldbag, what was your post on that night?
That lobby! I was supposed to help set up the stage for that trifling show! But I refused to help, I'll have you know, it was for the lead-headed samurai show! Heh, I even took out a few of the nails!
Maybe it was... That should successfully capture that noise profile. Maybe it was a good thing the show didn't go on.
Besides, that manager with the glasses seemed to be working hard at it without me. So I thought I'd take a break and spread my wings a little.
And that's when you went to hang around the victim's door?
There was something I was interested in finding out, you know? Well, since I was on the job, I made sure to keep a good eye out the whole time.
Oops, hold on.
There was something I was interested in finding out, you know?
Press. Her voice completely changed, hasn't it?
It used to be more like this, but this is how I used to do it, but now it's like a gremlin,
Anyway, something you were interested in, and just what was that?
It's not some little thing I can just go around telling everyone, you know. It's top secret between me and Juan. And Edgy, of course.
Mr. Edgeworth, what is this thing she was interested in? I have no idea. I despise gossip, Your Honor. Gossip? If this has something to do with the case, then you can append it to your testimony. It looks like we shouldn't voice it right now. And did the witness stay in the vicinity of the victim's door the entire time?
Well, since I was on the job, I made sure to keep a good eye out the whole time.
Oh? then would you tell us the number of people who went in and out of Mr. Cordella's room?
I have no idea! I wasn't born so I could count things for those who didn't pay attention in class. That's why ever since I turned 20, I quit keeping track of how old I really am.
Yes. Well, that would explain why your age was not recorded in the report. Yeah, that's actually what I was thinking.
What? Wait! I just gave...
Okay, Edgeworth is a judge now. In any case, the witness then saw someone, correct?
That's when someone showed up! It was the man coming out of poor Juan's room!
Who in the world was that?
I'm not allowed to say! This sort of information has to be carefully guarded from the masses, Sonny! The man that came out of Juan's room... It... was... He... was...
Yes, he was.
I'm too scared! I can't say his name out loud!
Oh, what I wouldn't give to have Francisca's whip right about now, really. Wait, what? Oh, what I wouldn't give to have Francisca's whip right about now. I think I gave him frickin' the Edgeworth voice. Anyway.
Well, I guess I can tell you since he was such a bad boy anyway. It was on guard, mad on guard. He was trying to sneak his way out of Juan's room.
You saw my client. Are you sure about that?
Yesy!
Really?
Annoying brat! When I say I saw someone, I saw that person!
Why do I get a sense of deja vu? Maybe to avoid a mess like last year, I should delve into this a bit further. The person's face, what the person was carrying, the person's clothes, the person's face. Please tell the court about the man's face in more detail.
You don't need me to tell you about his face! That soft, gentle look in his eyes and his effeminate lips! His right eye covered by his silky hair, his sparkling, shining teeth!
His teeth were... shining?
Well, he's shining all around in this week's pinup poster, dearie!
This week's pinup? Why do you... I mean... I don't care how he looks in this week's issue, please say with what you saw that night, but please stay.
What? Our guard's face is the same no matter where it is, right? You whippersnapper!
So, Mr. Wright, was this testimony just now important or relevant in any way? It was very important. You need to see the victim's face. Of course it was important, Your Honor. Then perhaps you would like to point out what part of that testimony was important. You don't really have to put it that way to get me to say. Mr. Wright, there is something much more valuable than a person's pride, and that is time. Please don't waste this court's precious time with worthless questions. Yes, Your Honor. I think I just wasted his good favor. She may not remember things or be mistaken here and there, but I don't think she's lying. That's bad for us, really bad. But that's how the human mind is. It also has a tendency to jump off topic. She strayed onto a few interesting side topics this time too, hasn't she? But that's what makes her a sweet old lady, right? Mia, you don't understand, do you? That's because you're not the one who has to question her. Anyway, okay, so it's starting over, huh? Okay, so there was something I was interested in finding out, you know. Well, since I was on the job, I made sure to keep a good eye on the whole thing. That's when someone showed up. It was a man coming out of the poor Juan's room, and then the final was it wasn't Madam Guard. He was trying to sneak his way out of Juan's room. I think, was this it? Was this it? I think this was. Press. You saw my client. Are you sure about that? Yeah, this is it. Okay, so next we're going to try to have all the dialogue options here just to make sure. Okay, so what the person was carrying? Okay, sure, we'll go with that. What was the man you saw carrying?
In which hand? His right hand or his left? Now this is a real mess! I mean, I can't be expected to answer such a vague question!
Indeed. Please be more specific with your question, Mr. Wright. Sorry. What was the man you saw carrying in his right hand?
He wasn't carrying anything in that hand!
Then how about his left?
Empty! Oh, you stop!
Well, this whole thing has been a lot of nothing. So, Mr. Wright, was this testimony just now important or relevant in any way? It was very important, of course. Of course it was important, Your Honor. Then perhaps you would like to blame... shut up, Edgeworth. You know, you know, your presence you've lost your welcome, Edgeworth. Like we were excited that you came back, but now I'm getting sick of your guts. No, not really. I mean, I'm kind of sad that I don't get to use the Lady Von Karma voice anytime soon, anyway. But you know, probably not for a while, because like in the next game, I believe the main prosecutor's name is supposed to be like Godot or something. I believe his name is Godot. Like, if you seen him, you know what I'm talking about. He's like this guy with like white hair and like he's got like these Cyclops laser things over his eyes. It's hard to explain. If you've seen him, you'll know what I'm talking about. I believe his name is Godot. Anyway, we'll find out soon enough, because at least at the time of recording this, the next game that I will be playing, what you guys want me to play, will probably be the next game, Trials and Tribulations. The person's clothes. Please tell the court about the man's clothes in more detail. What a troublesome man you are, really, as if something like that matters. But it does. Now what was it? Oh yes, it was that thing. What thing? That gaudy thing he's always wearing, that racing jacket. He was wearing that at the detention center too. That thing's meant for nothing but seducing women out of their pantaloons. Men. Right. So, Mr. Wright, was this testimony just now important or relevant in any way? Let's save, actually. Let me say that, I'm gonna say that it wasn't, just because, actually, we're actually at the end of the episode, but I just want to find out from save point. It was not important. I guess it really wasn't that important after all. Mr. Wright, do you know why we say time is valuable? Say time is valuable, if not, I suggest you learn. You wasted 3 minutes of this woman's youth! That's more valuable than gold to me! And my intelligence seems to have reverted to that of a toddler. She made it okay. Okay, so it looks like we're just gonna have to present some type of evidence next time. So, anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and save for real this time and end off the episode. So, what do you guys think? Did you guys find a contradiction? I mean, I think I might while reviewing this episode, but who knows? Anyway, yeah, that's that. Yeah, this was certainly a very eventful and very fun recording session, I would say, because a lot happened and I wasn't lost. I didn't get lost for very long, anyway. But yeah, what do you think? What do you think is going to happen? I don't know. I'm of the belief that Adrian Andrews actually is not the killer. I feel like she's just a red herring. You might be saying, well, then who's the real killer? What if it was Will Powers? No, I'm just joking. It's possible that it's Adrian Andrews, but I'm just not sure. Like, something's telling me that's incorrect. I don't know what, though. No, it's because when we broke the Cyclops, right? She said, when she broke the Cyclops, she said, you know, I'm not the type of person who would commit murder, right? I just wouldn't do that. And, you know, usually, when you break the Cyclops, they're sort of obligated to tell the truth at that point, right? So I don't think that she was a murderer. It had to have been someone else. But who was the murderer? Oh, well, who else? The killer! It has to be the killer, right? Anyway, without further ado, if you like this series of videos, please feel free to leave a like. If you thought it was cool, please feel free to subscribe and join the Oven Brother today. Also, follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/MegaShadowFist. I'll be sure to leave that in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching. This MegaShadowFist signing out. Bye!